dear listeners, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Linda, and here with me is my co-host, Leo. Hi, Leo.
Hi, Linda, and hello to all of our listeners. Today, we're going to talk about something very important in life. Marriage. It's a big topic, right, Linda?
Oh, it sure is. Marriage is something many people think about at some point in their lives. It's an important relationship between two people. But what is marriage exactly, Leo?
Well, Linda, marriage is when the people decide to spend their lives together. They usually have a special ceremony called a wedding to celebrate their decision. But marriage is more than just a wedding, right?
Yes, that's right. Marriage is about love, trust, and commitment. It means two people promise to support each other in good times and bad times. It's not always easy, though, is it?
No, it's not. Marriage can be wonderful, but it can also be difficult. That's why people often say that marriage takes work. It means you have to communicate with your partner, listen to them, and solve problems together.
Yes, exactly. Communication is key in any marriage. If you don't talk to each other, it can be hard to understand how the other person is feeling. Do you think marriage is the same in every culture, Leo?
Oh no, not at all. Marriage can be very different depending on where you are in the world. In some countries, people get married very young, and in other places, they get married when they're older. Some marriages are arranged by families, while others happen because people fall in love.
That's so interesting. So, there are many ways to get married and many ways to live as a married couple. But at the end of the day, it's about building a life together.
Exactly. Marriage is like a partnership. Both people need to work together to make it successful. They share responsibilities like taking care of the house, working, and maybe even raising children.
Yes, some people decide to have children after they get married, but not everyone does. It's really up to each couple to decide what's best for them. Marriage is very personal, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Every marriage is unique. What works for one couple might not work for another, and that's okay. What's important is that the couple is happy and they respect each other.
That's a great point, Leo. Respect is so important. Without respect, it's hard to have a strong marriage. But let's not forget about love. Love is the reason most people get married in the first place.
Yes, love is at the heart of marriage. It's what keeps people together, even when things are tough. But like you said earlier, Linda, it's not just love. Trust, respect, and communication are also very important.
Absolutely. Marriage is like a team. Both people need to give and take. Sometimes you have to compromise. Do you know what compromise means, Leo?
Yes, compromise means that sometimes you don't get exactly what you want, but that's okay. You meet in the middle. Both people make small sacrifices to keep the relationship strong.
Exactly. Compromise is very important in marriage. It helps keep things fair and balanced, and, of course, there's always a bit of fun and joy in a marriage, too.
Yes, marriage isn't just about hard work. It's also about enjoying life together, going on adventures, celebrating happy moments, and sharing everyday life with someone you care about.
That's so true. And speaking of everyday life, and we'll talk more about what it's like to live with your partner after you get married.
That's going to be interesting. Living together can be wonderful, but it also comes with its challenges.
And we talked about what marriage is. And today, we're diving into what happens after you get married. So, Leo, what do you think is the biggest change? When do people start living together after marriage?
Great question, Linda. I think one of the biggest changes is learning how to share your space with someone else. You know, before marriage, people usually live alone or with their families. But after marriage, you and your partner share everything: your home, your time, and even your bathroom.
Yes, sharing a bathroom can definitely be a big change. But it's more than just the physical space, right? It's also about sharing your life. You have to make decisions together: what to eat, how to spend your free time, and even how to manage money.
Exactly, and sometimes you realize that your partner has different habits than you do. Maybe they like to leave their clothes on the floor, or maybe they don't do the dishes right away. These little things can sometimes lead to arguments, don't you think?
Yes, that's so true. When two people live together, they often have different ways of doing things. But that's where communication and compromise come in again. You have to talk about these things and find a way that works for both of you.
Right, and it's also important to be patient. No one is perfect and everyone has their own habits. It's about learning to live together and accepting each other's differences. Sometimes it can be fun to learn new things from your partner.
Yes, definitely. You might even discover a new hobby or interest because of your partner. For example, if your partner loves cooking, maybe you'll start cooking together and enjoy it as a couple.
That's a great point. Cooking together, watching movies, or going for walks, these are all ways to spend quality time with your partner. It's important to make time for each other, even if you're both busy with work or other responsibilities.
Yes, making time for each other is very important. Life can get busy with work, friends, and family, but a strong marriage means spending time together and showing that you care.
Absolutely, but Linda, let's be honest, living together can also bring challenges, especially when it comes to things like money. How do you think couples can handle finances in marriage?
Good question. Leo, money is one of the biggest reasons couples argue, so it's really important to talk about it. Some couples decide to share everything, like having one bank account. Others might keep their money separate and just split the bills. It depends on what works for them.
Yes, it's all about finding what works best for both people. Maybe one person is good at saving money and the other likes to spend more. You have to find a balance and agree on how to manage your finances.
Exactly, and that's why it's important to talk about money early in the marriage. You don't want any surprises later on. It's better to be open and honest from the start.
Yes, being honest is key, and it's not just about money, it's about everything in marriage. If something is bothering you, it's important to talk about it. Don't let small problems become big problems.
That's so true. Little things can grow into big issues if you don't talk about them. For example, if you're feeling stressed about something, it's better to share your feelings with your partner instead of keeping it to yourself.
Yes, exactly. And when you live together, you're going to face some challenges. Maybe you have different ideas about how to decorate the house or how to spend your weekends. But that's part of the adventure, isn't it?
Laughs, yes. Marriage is definitely an adventure. It's full of ups and downs, but that's what makes it interesting. You learn more about yourself and your partner as you go along.
Right, and it's important to support each other through those ups and downs. Maybe your partner is having a bad day at work or they're feeling sick. In marriage, you're there for each other through the good times and the tough times.
Exactly. Marriage is about being a team. You help each other, support each other, and sometimes you even have to make sacrifices for each other. But that's what makes the relationship stronger.
Yes, and speaking of being a team, and we will talk about raising children and how that changes a marriage. Having kids can bring a lot of joy, but it also brings new responsibilities.
And now we're going to talk about how having children can change a marriage. Leo, what do you think? Is raising children the biggest change in a marriage?
Oh, absolutely, Linda. Having children brings so much joy, but it also adds a lot of new responsibilities. It changes everything: your daily routine, your time, and even your relationship with your partner, but many people say it's worth it.
Yes, children can bring so much happiness to a family, but they also require a lot of care and attention. Suddenly, it's not just about you and your partner anymore. Now you have a little person to look after. What do you think is the most challenging part about having children in a marriage?
I think the biggest challenge is finding time for everything. When you have kids, your time gets divided between work, family, and personal time. Sometimes it's hard to balance all of that, and it can be easy to forget to make time for your partner.
That's so true, Leo. Many couples find that after they have children, they don't spend as much time together as they used to. It's easy to get caught up in taking care of the kids, going to work, and managing the house. But it's important to remember that the marriage still needs attention.
Yes, keeping your marriage strong is important even when you're busy with children. One way to do that is by making time for each other. Even if it's just a small thing, like having a cup of coffee together in the morning, it helps you stay connected.
I agree. It's those little moments that matter. And sometimes it helps to get support from family or friends or even hire a babysitter, so you can have a bit of time for yourselves. Every couple needs a break sometimes.
Definitely, raising children can be tiring, but it's also very rewarding. You get to see your children grow, learn new things, and develop their personalities. It's amazing, but it can also be stressful.
Yes, raising children is a lot of work. You have to teach them, take care of them when they're sick, and make sure they're happy and healthy. It can sometimes put stress on the parents, and that's when communication becomes even more important.
That's right, Linda. When you're stressed, it's easy to get frustrated, but it's important to keep talking to your partner. If you feel overwhelmed, you should share those feelings with your spouse. Marriage is about teamwork, and that means helping each other when things get tough.
Yes, and asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's okay to ask your partner to share the responsibilities, whether it's with chores or looking after the kids. Both parents should support each other, so one person doesn't feel like they're doing everything alone.
Exactly, and sometimes you'll have to make compromises again. Maybe one parent works while the other stays at home with the kids, or maybe both parents work and need to find child care. It's different for every family.
Yes, and whatever works for each family is fine. What's important is that both parents are happy with the decisions they make. And let's not forget, raising children can also bring couples closer together, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Watching your children grow and sharing those special moments can bring a lot of joy and strengthen your bond. It's a shared experience that helps you grow as a couple.
Yes, things like watching your child take their first steps or saying their first words, those moments are unforgettable. And even though raising children is hard work, the love you get from your children makes it all worth it.
I couldn't agree more, but sometimes couples also have to learn how to handle differences in parenting styles. Maybe one parent is stricter and the other is more relaxed. How do you think couples can manage those differences, Linda?
That's a great question. Leo, I think, again, it comes down to communication and compromise. Parents need to talk about how they want to raise their children and be willing to meet in the middle. It's important for children to see that their parents are working together as a team.
Yes, being on the same page is important, but it's also okay to have different approaches sometimes. What's important is that both parents respect each other's opinions and work together to create a loving environment for their kids.
Exactly. And speaking of love, children learn a lot from watching their parents. If they see their parents treating each other with love, respect, and kindness, they'll learn to do the same.
That's such an important point, Linda. Children learn by example. If parents show love and understanding in their marriage, children will carry those values with them into their own relationships one day.
Yes, so to all our listeners out there, remember that even though raising children can be challenging, it's also one of the most rewarding experiences in life. And don't forget to nurture your marriage along the way.
Well said, Linda, and today we've talked about what marriage means, how life changes after marriage, and how raising children can affect your relationship. We hope you found this discussion helpful and interesting.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. Remember, every marriage is different, and every couple faces their own challenges. But with love, communication, and a little bit of patience, you can build a strong and happy marriage.
That's right, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We love hearing from our listeners.
Thanks again for joining us. Bye for now.
Goodbye.